stage is indeed set for the commissioning of a 650,000 barrels per day capacity refinery built by Dangote Petroleum, Refinery and Petrochemicals. The refinery, which will be commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday, boasts of a number of firsts. According to the company's chief executive, Sanjay Gupta, it is the largest single-train refinery in the world and will be churning out premium motor spirit, or PMS, diesel, that's AGO, aviation jet fuel, and dual-purpose kerosene, DPK, among other refined products. The plant, arguably Africa's biggest oil refinery, is expected to create more employment opportunities for Nigeria's teeming population, address the shortage of foreign exchange, among other benefits to the economy. Ahead of the commissioning, experts are already predicting that the coming on board of the refinery will change the dynamics of the country's importation and consumption of petroleum products, among other benefits. One of these experts is economist and chief executive officer of financial derivatives company, Mr. Bismarck Rewane, who in this interview with our correspondent, Laddie Williams, says the country's economy stands to gain a lot with the coming on board of the refinery. He started by addressing the ownership of the refinery.
Called the Dangote Refinery, and the shareholders of that company are well documented and known. Secondly, it doesn't matter whether the majority interest resides in a particular group, individual, or family. The whole idea is that it's an investment that will generate revenues, increase productivity, and have wider positive implications for Nigeria. It's a milestone, like I said. It's a milestone. It's an economic milestone. It's also an industrial milestone for Nigeria and West Africa in particular. So I think it's something that is worth celebrating while we actually begin to reap the benefits in the days ahead.
All right, so putting more clarity to who owns the refinery, we did hear the NNPCL has about 20% stake. What stake does the government have in the refinery?
I think NNPC, for accuracy, NNPC was supposed to acquire 20% of the equity stake in the company. And that is actually, it achieves two things. One, diversification of ownership, and two, also hedging against the risk of lack of supply of crude to the refinery. So by ceding 20% of the equity interest in NNPC, which with all due respect, is going to be a quoted company in the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So Dangote Refinery will be quoted. NNPC, the investor with 20%, will also a quoted company. And all of these shares are available to Nigerians at large to participate in this attempt to democratize capital.
So there are reports the NNPCL will be supplying about 300,000 barrels of oil to the Dangote refinery from next week. What is the implication of this, around pricing, and how much of that, would the Dangote refinery be sending out in terms of export?
Okay, let's get some facts clear. One, Dangote's single-train refinery has a capacity to refine 650,000 barrels a day. That's the capacity. Two, Nigeria's domestic production, according to OPEC, not export, just for domestic consumption, is 500,000 barrels. That is what we produce every day and send through Trafigura, Vitol, and others to go and refine for us and bring back into the country. So if what you're saying is accurate, it means of the 500,000 barrels a day, which is meant for domestic consumption, 300,000 barrels of that is being sold to the Dangote refinery for refining domestically. So it's just saying that rather than give 500,000 barrels straight up to Trafigura, Vitol, or Glencore to take to Rotterdam to go and refine for us and bring it back as refined products, 60% of that is now being given to the Dangote group to refine for Nigerians. That's what it means. The question of subsidy doesn't arise at this time. What it does mean, and the reality is that oil is sold in dollars, the transportation that is refined in dollars in Rotterdam, the transportation of the crude out, the finished product back into Nigeria, everything is dollarized. The dollar landed cost of this product, right, multiplied by the official exchange rate, depending on what exchange rate you use, will give you the landed cost of petrol, which today is probably around 4 or 5, I don't know what the figure is, while the selling price today, the average selling price of petroleum products in the official window is about 189, 220 in some places, and 230 in others. So let us assume, for the sake of argument, that the landed cost of a liter of petrol is actually 700 or say 600 naira, and you are selling it at 220. Then what happens then is that there will be a subsidy of 600 minus 220, which essentially is about 380 naira per liter, right? So what the proponents, including myself, of subsidy reduction or subsidy removal is that the landed cost at the official rate of, at the rate of exchange should be the, plus a margin should be the price at which we buy petrol. One, it guarantees supply. Two, it reduces downtime. And thirdly, it makes it unattractive to smuggle the product out of Nigeria.
So, of what benefit, is a refinery to the government, and the economy of Nigeria at large? What do you see, happening going forward with the Nigerian economy? Now,
let's get one thing clear. The commissioning and let me put it this way, let's get one thing clear. The completion of the Dangote Refinery is not a silver bullet that will solve all of Nigeria's petroleum and foreign exchange problems. It's a significant milestone and a necessary condition for positioning Nigeria for growth and increasing productivity of its people. Therefore, it is not a silver bullet. It's not sufficient to guarantee anything, but it will have the following implications. One, it increases GDP growth just by its output. Two, it increases, because it reduces the downtime of people going to queue up in petrol stations, it increases labor productivity. Three, it increases total factor productivity. Four, it increases export earnings because we are servicing and selling refined products across the region. Those countries are going to pay Dangote Refinery and Nigeria in particular with hard-earned dollars, right? It does not solve Nigeria's foreign exchange problem totally. It helps. It goes a long way and puts us on a path towards what we call optimization of economic resources in Nigeria.